My creepy coworkers were going into my office at night and licking my possessions, so I set up a hidden camera to catch them in the act. I, 35F, am a Moroccan living and working in the US. I work for a big corporation with worldwide locations. When I started working there was a colleague of mine, 37M, who always made jokes about being in love with me, etc. I knew these weren't just jokes, but his way of telling me he was interested. I don't crap where I eat, so I just ignored it. He then started calling me his almond eye. I always corrected him and told him to call me by my name. I told him if he wouldn't stop I would call him banana nose. Listen, I don't know why I said that because his nose is normal, it's just something that came to my mind. He laughed it off but never called me that again. Since 2 months we have a new colleague, 36M. I was working from home the first 2 days he started. When I met him he was very distant. Acted as if he doesn't like me. Don't get me wrong, I'm a very nice person, so for me this was weird, but I respected him and his space, so I didn't make an effort to see what was going on. Last week I discovered he made a huge mistake. I can't go into details about what because you would guess the corporation, but it was a big one. Even though he acted like a jerk to me, I didn't want him to get into trouble, so I stayed in the office with him until past midnight to solve the issue. And I never reported it. But then, when I got up to leave he asked me to wait because he wanted to talk to me. He asked me why I hated him so much. My flabber was gasped. I asked him what he meant because in my opinion he was the ass. He started telling me that the first day he got here he was mentored by Banana Nose. And Banana Nose told him, watch out for her because she is Muslim and has told everyone over and over again that gay people should be banned. First, sir, I came from Morocco to work here, who the hell am I to want to ban someone? Secondly, my religion teaches me to accept and respect everyone. New guy went on to say that he had doubts after tonight because I could have fed him to the wolves but instead helped him out. But then came the worst part. New guy told me that Banana Nose goes into my office when I work from home and get this, sits naked on my chair to punish me for being a prude. I asked new guy to not tell anyone what he told me. And now I want to get a hidden camera and install it in my office. I want to first ask HR if it's not against office policy, but yeah, I definitely want to catch his ass, literally. Would I be the eye hole if I did that? Update. Well, it is very nice meeting you all. I have never in my life read so many ideas to make someone's butt itch or hurt. The things we can achieve if we just work together. I had a talk to HR. I requested an urgent meeting. I didn't tell them everything because I know what they would do, they would investigate, and then come back with, it's just a rumor. Banana Nose is very loved and I don't want to put new guy in a bad place. So I told them I'm afraid someone might be sneaking in my office because all my stuff gets misplaced. Since I have a higher position at this company, they took it real serious real fast. So my dears, camera is in its place. And I will be working from home the next couple of days. Update 2. Hey, everyone. I guess thanks for being curious and creative. Before I get to the update, I would like to explain where my office is and how Banana Nose was able to do what he did. My office is at the end of the hall. The only room that's facing my office is a utility room/supply closet. We all have offices on the same floor. And with we, I mean the members of our team. I know it might seem naive of me, but I never question new guy. I've never told him anything about how Banana Nose treats me and how he calls me a prude. So for him to make that leap seemed excessive. Now for the update. Today was my first day working from home since the cameras were placed. After working for a few hours, I got a call from HR to come to work. My heart was beating so fast and I literally can't remember how I got there. The nerves were eating at me. I got to the HR department, which is 1 floor above us, and I noticed everyone staring at me. The head of the department was sitting in a room with a couple of other people. They started talking. I couldn't listen. Things like, we as a company blah blah blah. I stopped them and said I couldn't bear listening to a TED Talk and I wanted to know what was going on. Last night, when I already went home and the camera was installed for maybe an hour, Banana Nose entered my office. HR asked me if I wanted to see the video or if I just want them to explain what happened. As if it's a nature documentary. I told them I definitely wanted to see the video. I will first start by saying what I saw objectively. Banana Nose entered my office and the door behind him was still open. He looked over his shoulder and it looked like he was talking to someone while taking his pants off. Then, it happened. He sat on my chair but ass naked. He took some candy from my desk and started dancing. On my chair, rubbing his butt in my chair's DNA. I got sick to my stomach. He then took my pens one by one and licked them. It looked like he was still talking. There was no sound. So I wasn't sure. Then the worst thing happened. 2 years ago, I lost my 7-year-old niece to cancer. On my desk is a picture of her and I the last time we got to hug. So you can clearly see it's not only a child but a sick one. This evil man rubbed his man stick all over my picture frame and laughed so hard. He took out his phone, made a call and then left. I started crying like a baby. I feel violated. I feel used. I feel unsafe. HR guy was talking but I didn't hear anything. I saw myself in the reflection of the window and I stopped. Wiped away my tears and asked what the next steps are. HR said Banana Nose was asked to come in later and they would fire him on the spot. It seemed to me like they thought that that was enough for me. I told them firing him is step 1. I wanted to know who he was talking to and demanded to see the security tapes for the hallway. You can't see into my office on these tapes, but I know for a fact you can see who is standing in the hall. HR accepted my request and asked security for the tapes. It takes some time, but they expect to get it sometime tomorrow. For now I feel unsafe everywhere I go. When I got in my car, all I could think about was, maybe he was in my car. Maybe he was in my home. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel crazy. I will do my best to update you all. For now I just need. I don't know what I need yet. Thank you all. Update 3. First I want to thank everyone. Your support and kind words helped me when I couldn't sleep. Having this feeling of being alone. May it come back to you to benefit your lives. Each one of you. I don't know where to start. Forgive my brain giving up on me. It has been a lot. I have viewed the tapes and what I saw was. I don't know. It was clear he was talking to someone. I too thought it could be New Guy. But it wasn't. New Guy was seen on tape at the beginning of the hall turning his back and leaving. Banana Nose was giving a show in my office for 4 of my coworkers. 1 male, 2 female. 2 of them I trained. All 3 of them I helped when they made many mistakes. They stood by the door while he danced and filmed him. One of the females started to fist pump. It was disgusting. Before going to HR to view the tape, I did my research. I read in my contract that when there is a conflict of serious nature that can't be solved, that it needs to be taken to the board for review and judgment. I knew that if I asked for them all to be fired that it wouldn't be a problem. Because like I said, many mistakes. So I came up with a different idea. I asked for a compensation from the firm and all parties involved of $1 million per person. I know. Ridiculous. Ridiculous enough to get me in front of the board. To get them in front of the board. And I can't wait to show these tapes in front of 11 rich old men and 1 female. Who all have a lot of influence in our field of business. But most of all I can't wait to look them in the eye and ask them why. I know their answer wouldn't change anything, but it would give away who they truly are. Banana Nose isn't fired yet. When I got home after our meeting, HR guy told me they want to wait until they have the full story, so nothing was unanswered. After today I asked them not to fire him because the board meeting would be useless. And if he quits he will lose all his benefits. So this way. He has little choice but to show up to the meeting where I will do my dance. I don't know if I'll stay at this company even though I love to work here. Because I can't believe that there is any way where it would be possible for New Guy to know this info and all my other colleagues not. Yesterday I drove to New Guy's house. I told him I never mentioned his name. I want him to have peace and not be afraid that other people will act out against him as some sort of vengeance. His secret is safe with me. Some people asked me what I would do if someone read this from work. Let me say it like this. I work with a bunch of nerds. Not the good kind that's on Reddit. But the bad kind that thinks TMZ is what keeps you up to date. They use words like, Wadavea. I bet you can picture them now. And if they do show up here and read all of this, so be it. I couldn't cope without all of you. I have no family here and I thought my coworkers were my friends. I guess we all make mistakes. Again, thank you all for everything. I kinda love you guys. Just make sure you never say Wadavea. Update 4. An hour ago I got the news that everyone involved quit their job. They got their notice that they have to appear in front of the board and they didn't want that. By everyone involved, I also mean one other person that was not on the tape but knew of it and was involved on different occasions. This was something that happened frequently. When they first had to come to HR and watch the tapes, they said it was just a joke that got out of hand. One of them even tried to say that I knew of it. They wanted to first keep their job and asked for a group session to work things out. But when HR said there would be a board meeting, they resigned the next day. As for me, I handed in my notice, but this wasn't accepted. The company offered me a better paying job in a different location. They will help me with relocation and everything. I'm glad that I got this chance. Since I have a more senior position, I need a well-rounded, trustworthy assistant. I asked for New Guy. They agreed with it and New Guy was very excited. Our relocation is closer at his boyfriend's house and I'm glad that I don't have to leave him behind at a toxic environment. I decided not to sue. I don't ever want to think about what he did ever again. And I don't want to put my energy towards this kind of toxicity. And I know one thing for certain. You get what you give. Thank you all for your loving messages. Relevant comments. Commenter. There's no both sides of the story for HR to get here. That video pretty much requires immediate termination. OP. It wasn't about the both stories. He explained that he wanted to first know who was in the hallway so he would know if there were executives involved. I guess we will never know if there were. This definitely isn't a project or whatever. This is my life right now. I can't sleep, can't eat. I keep going over every interaction I ever had with them. Trying to think of something I could have done to deserve this. I have nightmares of Banana Nose poisoning my food or standing by my bed. Yesterday I dreamt he was at my niece's grave. Dancing on her. Thoughts like, maybe he did something to the brakes of my car or maybe he is hiding somewhere in my house keep popping up. It's crazy. It's crazy that I had a good life here. I was happy. Felt safe. And now everything changed. Update 5. I wasn't going to post again, but I just need to get this out somewhere. I'm writing this at 3 a.m. and I haven't slept more than a couple of hours in days. Yesterday, after work, I found a note on my windshield. It wasn't threatening or anything, just a piece of paper with the word Watavea written on it. That stupid word. No signature, no explanation. Just that. At first, I tried to brush it off as a coincidence, maybe some idiot playing a joke. But I can't shake the feeling that it's connected. I can't stop thinking about it. What if it's one of them? What if they're still watching me? I've been double-checking all the locks in my house, and I even installed extra security cameras outside. But no matter what I do, I can't escape this feeling of paranoia. Every time I hear a noise, I freeze. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, expecting to see Banana Nose or one of the others. I've started driving different routes to work just in case someone's following me. I talked to New Guy about everything that's been happening, and he's been supportive. He even offered to let me stay at his place for a while. But I don't want to drag him into this mess any more than he already is. He's got his own life to deal with, and I feel like I'm just a ticking time bomb of drama. The relocation offer from the company is still on the table, but I'm second-guessing everything. Do I really want to uproot my life and move just to escape these people? Or am I letting them win by running away? I'm torn between wanting to start fresh somewhere else and standing my ground, but honestly, I don't know if I have the strength to fight anymore. I've decided to go to therapy, which is something I should have done a long time ago. I need to sort out all these emotions and try to regain some sense of control over my life. The nightmares are getting worse, and I can't keep living like this. Update 6. I didn't think things could get any weirder, but here we are. I really hope this is the last time I have to post, but I'm not sure anymore. After the note incident, I was pretty much a wreck. But the worst part? That stupid word Watavea kept echoing in my head, and I started doubting myself. Maybe it was just a prank, maybe I was overreacting. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. You don't just go through what I did and brush it off like nothing happened. So, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I went back to HR and asked for another meeting, this time with the head of security. I wanted to know if there was any footage of who left the note on my car. They agreed to check the tapes, but they warned me it might take some time since it wasn't on company property. Fine, whatever. At this point, I just wanted answers. Meanwhile, I tried to keep my routine as normal as possible. But the paranoia kept creeping in. Every time I left the house, I felt like someone was watching me. I even started getting jumpy when I saw people from work in public, which was rare but still unsettling. It's like my brain was wired to expect the worst. Then, this morning, something happened that flipped everything upside down. I got a call from an unknown number while I was making breakfast. Usually, I'd ignore it, but something told me to pick up. On the other end was a voice I didn't recognize, but they knew who I was. They started by saying, "I know what you've been through." My heart stopped. I didn't say anything, just listened. They went on to tell me they used to work at the same company, but they quit years ago because of similar harassment from Banananose and his crew. According to this person, Banananose had been doing stuff like this for years. They described incidents that were eerily similar to what I'd been through, even down to the sneaking around the office after hours. But here's the kicker: they said they left because no one believed them. HR swept everything under the rug, and they were practically forced out. That's when I realized this wasn't just about me. This was a pattern, and I wasn't the first victim. I asked why they were telling me this now, and their response shook me, "Because I heard about your case, and I couldn't stay silent anymore." I don't know if it was the same person who left the note or just another victim trying to warn me, but either way, it added a whole new layer of horror to everything. Was Banananose doing this to other people too? Were there others out there like me, just trying to survive? I immediately called HR back and demanded a meeting with the board. I don't care if they think I'm being paranoid. I want every single incident involving Banananose and his crew dug up. I want to know how deep this goes. And if they try to sweep this under the rug again, I'll make sure it goes public. I'm done playing nice. I told new guy about the call, and he's been supportive as ever. He even suggested going to the media if HR tries to silence me, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that level of exposure. I just want justice, and I want to feel safe again. The relocation is still on the table, and I'm leaning towards taking it. But I'm not leaving until I see this through. I'm not going to let Banananose or anyone else get away with this again. Update 7. I thought I was prepared for battle, but nothing could have prepared me for what happened today. First off, the head of security finally got back to me with the footage from the parking lot. I wish I could say it gave me some peace, but it only made things worse. The video showed someone hood up, face down, slipping the note under my windshield. And here's the thing, they got into a car that looked suspiciously like one of my coworkers. I couldn't be 100% sure from the grainy footage, but it definitely looked like the same model and color. Guess who drives that car? One of the three who stood in the hallway laughing while Banananose did his disgusting chair routine. At this point, I'm almost numb to the shock. Almost. I immediately called HR and demanded a meeting with the board ASAP. No more stalling, no more excuses. I made it clear that if they didn't do something concrete, I was prepared to take it public. That seemed to light a fire under them because they set up the meeting for the next day. I spent the night pacing around my apartment, going over everything I wanted to say. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Just pure adrenaline and anxiety. The board meeting was today. I walked into that room with my head held high, but my stomach was in knots. The board members were all seated at this massive table, looking at me like I was some kind of anomaly they couldn't quite figure out. I started by laying out everything that had happened, from the jokes and harassment to the horrific footage in my office. I even mentioned the anonymous call I got, explaining that this was a pattern, not just an isolated incident. When I finished, there was silence. I could feel their eyes boring into me, but no one said a word. Then, one of the senior board members, a guy who looked like he'd seen it all, finally spoke up. He asked me if I had any proof of this pattern beyond my own experience and the anonymous call. I froze. I hadn't thought that far ahead. I didn't have any concrete proof that Banananose had done this to others, all I had were my suspicions and that one phone call. But I wasn't going to back down now. I don't have hard proof, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But I know there are others. And I'm willing to find them if that's what it takes. The board exchanged glances, and the tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Then, another member spoke up, suggesting they bring in Banananose and his crew for questioning. I agreed, though my stomach churned at the thought of facing them again. They brought in Banananose first. He walked in with that smug grin I'd come to despise, like this was all just a big joke to him. But the grin quickly faded when they played the footage of him in my office. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Real, palpable fear. He tried to play it off as a misunderstanding, some kind of twisted prank that got out of hand. He claimed he never meant to hurt me and that the whole thing was just office humor. The board wasn't buying it, But what got me was the way he kept glancing over at the door. Like he was waiting for someone or something. Then they brought in the others. The two women and the man who had been laughing in the hallway. The energy in the room shifted immediately. It was tense, like everyone was holding their breath. The questioning started, and the excuses flew fast and thick. It was just a joke, we didn't think it was a big deal, we didn't mean any harm. But their stories didn't line up. Each of them started contradicting the other, and it quickly became clear that this wasn't just a one-time thing. This was a pattern, a sick, twisted game they'd been playing for who knows how long. Then came the bombshell. One of the women, let's call her Karen, because it fits, finally cracked under pressure. She admitted that the whole thing started as a way to take me down a peg because they thought I was too untouchable. She said they resented me for being successful, for getting along with the higher-ups, and for not falling for Banana-Nose's charms. Her exact words were, "We just wanted to see you sweat." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. All of this, the harassment, the fear, the sleepless nights because they thought I was too successful? Too untouchable? The board seemed equally shocked. They immediately ordered an internal investigation, and it looks like they're finally taking this seriously. They assured me that Banana-Nose and his crew would be suspended without pay pending the outcome of the investigation. They also told me they'd be reviewing their policies to make sure something like this never happens again. But here's the thing, I don't feel relieved. I don't feel victorious. I just feel empty. The people who did this to me might face consequences, but the damage is done. I've lost my sense of safety, my trust in my coworkers, and honestly, my love for this job. Even if they're all fired, how can I go back to working in that environment? The relocation offer is still on the table, and after today, I'm seriously considering it. I need to get out of this toxic place and start over somewhere new. But part of me is still holding on, wondering if leaving means they win. I don't know what to do.